Have you ever found yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., then 3 a.m., then 4 a.m., watching the shadows shift across your bedroom and wall, wondering if your body has simply forgotten how to sleep? You're not alone in this quiet struggle. Tonight, I want to share something deeply personal with you, the story of a 69-year-old woman named Margaret. Her friends call her Maggie. For over 12 years, Maggie believed she had tried everything for her chronic insomnia. She had accepted sleeplessness as her new normal, just another unfortunate part of growing older. But then something changed, not overnight, not with a magic pill. But gradually, steadily, and naturally, Maggie began sleeping again, real sleep, restorative sleep, the kind of sleep she thought she'd lost forever, and more importantly, you'll learn the specific approaches that helped her, approaches that may help you improve your sleep quality too, starting as soon as tonight. So, if you've been struggling with insomnia, if you're tired of feeling tired, stay with me. Because what you're about to learn could change your nights and transform your days. Let me start by acknowledging something important. What you're experiencing is real, it's difficult, and it matters deeply to your health and quality of life. As we move past age 60, our relationship with sleep naturally shifts in ways that can feel frustrating and confusing. Your body produces less melatonin, that crucial sleep hormone that once helped you drift off easily. Your deep sleep cycles become shorter and lighter. You spend more time in the lighter stages of sleep, where even small sounds or discomforts can wake you. And if you're any chronic health conditions or taking medications for blood pressure, heart health, arthritis, or other concerns, these can further disrupt your natural sleep patterns. Many seniors report the same constellation of struggles. Difficulty falling asleep, even when exhausted. Waking up repeatedly throughout the night, sometimes 4, 5, even 6 times, waking far too early before dawn, unable to fall back asleep. Or perhaps most frustrating of all, spending 8 full hours in bed, yet waking up feeling as if you never truly rested at all. Here's what makes this matter so profoundly. Chronic poor sleep affects your memory and cognitive function. You might find yourself forgetting names, misplacing items, or struggling to concentrate on conversations or activities you once enjoyed. It impacts your emotional well-being. When you're sleep-deprived, everything feels harder. Small frustrations become overwhelming. Patience runs thin, depression and anxiety can deepen. Your physical health suffers too. Poor sleep is linked to elevated blood pressure, weakened immune function, increased inflammation, higher risk of falls, and slower recovery from illness or injury, and perhaps most immediately, your daily energy vanishes. Simple tasks feel exhausting. The joy you once found in hobbies, social activities, or time with family becomes clouded by fatigue. Think of sleep as your body's nighttime repair workshop. During sleep, your brain consolidates memories, clears out cellular waste, and processes ions. Your immune system strengthens its defenses. Your muscles repair themselves. Your heart rate and blood pressure lower, giving your cardiovascular system a chance to rest and recover. If the workshop stays closed night after night, these essential repairs simply don't happen. Now here is what I want you to understand clearly. Millions of people over 60 struggle with insufficiency and sleep. This is not a personal failure. This is not about lacking discipline or willpower. This is a biological, neurological, and lifestyle-related shift that affects people across all backgrounds and lifestyles. And this is the hopeful part, there are gentle, evidence-supported habits that may help restore healthier sleep patterns. And that's exactly what Maggie discovered. Before we explore what helped Maggie improve her sleep, let's talk about 5 common habits that many seniors don't realize are actually making their insomnia worse. These aren't obvious mistakes. In fact, most people do these things thinking they're helping themselves sleep better, but research tells us otherwise. The first mistake is staying in bed when you can't sleep. This might seem counterintuitive, but if you've been lying awake for 20 to 30 minutes, unable to fall asleep, staying in bed can actually train your brain to associate your bedroom with wakefulness and frustration rather than rest. Your brain is constantly learning when you lie there hour after hour, tossing and turning, feeling anxious about not sleeping. Your brain begins to link your bed with steamer, uggle rather than peace. A better approach is this. If you can't sleep after about 20 minutes, get up gently. Move to a comfortable chair in another room. Keep the lights very dim. Read something calming, nothing stimulating or emotionally charged. Perhaps listen to soft music or a gentle podcast. Then, when you feel genuinely sleepy, not just tired, but sleepy, return to bed. This helps retrain your brain. Bed equals sleep, not stress. The second mistake is taking long daytime naps. A brief nap, 20 to 30 minutes in the early afternoon, can be wonderfully restorative for many seniors, but napping for 60, 90, or 120 minutes, or napping late in the day, can significantly reduce what sleep researchers call sleep pressure. Sleep pressure is your body's natural drive to sleep that builds up throughout the day. The longer you're awake, the stronger this pressure becomes, making it easier to fall asleep at night. Long naps release 2 much of that pressure, leaving you less sleepy when bedtime arrives. Maggie discovered this the hard way. She had been napping for nearly 2 hours every afternoon, thinking it would help her catch up on lost sleep. Instead, it was contributing to her nighttime wakefulness. The third mistake is bright screens before bedtime. We've all heard this advice, but let me explain exactly why it matters. Especially for older adults, the blue light emitted by phones, tablets, televisions, and computers tells your brain it's still daytime. This suppresses melatonin production right when your body needs it most, in the evening hours leading up to sleep. And here's the thing, as we age, our eyes become less efficient at filtering blue light, making us even more vulnerable to its sleep-disrupting effects. This doesn't mean you must eliminate all evening screen time, but consider dimming screens, using blue light filters, or switching to activities like reading a physical book or listening to audiobooks in the hour before bed. It can make you feel drowsy and help you fall asleep faster. But here's what happens next. As your body metabolizes that alcohol during the night, it creates a rebound effect. Your sleep becomes fragmented. You wake repeatedly. Your REM sleep, the restorative dream stage, gets disrupted. You might experience night sweats or vivid, disturbing dreams. The result, you spend time in bed, but you don't get quality rest. The fifth mistake is overthinking sleep itself. This is perhaps the most insidious trap of all. Many seniors develop what psychologists call sleep anxiety. Lying in bed thinking, I need to sleep, I must sleep. What if I don't sleep tonight? Tomorrow will be terrible if I don't rest. These just thoughts trigger the release of cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones that are the exact opposite of what you need for sleep. Your heart rate increases, your mind races, your muscles tense. Paradoxically, the harder you try to force sleep, the more elusive it becomes. This is why insomnia is often a combination of biological changes and psychological patterns that reinforce each other in a frustrating cycle, but this cycle can be broken, and that's exactly what happened for Maggie. Now let me share Maggie's journey, not as a prescription, not as a guarantee, but as any person's genuine experience with approaches that have support in sleep research. Important context. The following account is based on Maggie's personal experience with guidance from her healthcare provider, Ian. Individual results vary significantly, and her story should not be considered medical advice or a guaranteed outcome for anyone else. What worked for Maggie may not work the same way for you. Always consult your own healthcare provider before making changes to your sleep routine, especially if you have underlying health conditions or take medications. With that understanding, here's what Maggie did. The first strategy was establishing a consistent sleep and wake schedule. The first thing Maggie changed seemed almost too simple to matter, but sleep researchers consistently identify this as one of the most powerful interventions for chronic insomnia. She chose a bedtime of 10 p.m. and a wake time of 6 a.m., and here's the crucial part. She stuck to this schedule every single day, weekends included. Holidays included, even days when she had slept poorly the night before. For the first 2 weeks, this felt nearly impossible. Her body resisted. He felt wide awake at 10 p.m. some nights. She felt exhausted at 6 a.m. most mornings. But gradually, very gradually, her circadian rhythm began to reset. Her body started producing melatonin. Closer to 10 p.m., she began feeling naturally sleepy around bedtime. Morning wakefulness came a bit easier. Think of this as setting your body's internal clock with the same gentle precision every single day. Your brain loves this predictability, especially after age 60. The second strategy was morning light exposure. This strategy surprised Maggie. She had been so focused on nighttime routines that she hadn't considered how her mornings affected her sleep 12 hours later. But light exposure is one of the most powerful regulators of your circadian rhythm. Every morning, within about 30 minutes of waking, Maggie began opening her curtains wide and sitting near natural daylight for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes she had her morning tea by the window, sometimes she stepped outside. Briefly, sunlight entering your eyes sends a clear signal to your brain. This is daytime, be alert now. Sleep will come later. This helps your body produce melatonin at the right time in the evening, many hours later, even on cloudy days, even through a window. Natural daylight is far more effective than indoor lighting for this purpose. The third strategy was reducing bedtime mental stimulation. Maggie realized she had been spending her evenings watching news programs that left her feeling anxious, scrolling through social media that stirred up complicated emotions, or having phone conversations about family problems right before bed. She wasn't avoiding reality or refusing to stay informed. She simply shifted when she engaged with stimulating content. Instead, her evening hours became intentionally calming. She read novels that transported her without disturbing her. She listened to gentle music, often instrumental, sometimes nature sounds. She worked on simple jigsaw puzzles or did light stretching. The goal wasn't to become bored. It was to allow her nervous system to gradually shift from daytime alertness to evening calm. At night, worries would surface. Did I remember to pay that bill? What did I mean to tell Sarah tomorrow? Why did I say that awkward thing at lunch? I really need to call the dentist. These thoughts would spiral, keeping her awake for hours. So she began keeping a small notebook and pen on her nightstand earlier in the evening. Around 7 or 8 p.m., she would spend just 5 minutes writing down everything on her mind. Tasks to remember, worries to address tomorrow, things she needed to tell people, even uncomfortable tions she was processing. This wasn't journaling in the traditional sense. It was simply moving thoughts from her head onto paper where they could wait safely until morning when those thoughts tried to resurface at bedtime. She could remind herself gently, "Already written down, I'll handle it tomorrow. Right now, it's time to rest." This simple shift helped prevent mental clutter from sabotaging the transition into sleep. The fifth strategy was eating dinner earlier and lighter. Maggie had always eaten dinner around 7:30 or 8 p.m., sometimes heavy meals with rich foods. She would then go to bed just 2 or 3 hours later. She learned that digesting a large meal requires significant energy and can raise your core body temperature, both of which work against sleep. Your body temperature naturally needs to drop slightly as you prepare for sleep. She shifted her main meal to around 5:30 or 6 p.m. She kept it nourishing but lighter, and she made sure any evening snacks were small and easy to digest, perhaps some fruit, a few crackers with cheese, or herbal tea. This wasn't about dieting or restriction. It was about timing meals to support her body's natural sleep preparation. The sixth strategy was creating a 30-minute wind-down ritual. Perhaps the most transformative change Maggie made was establishing a consistent pre-sleep ritual. Every single night, starting at 9:30 p.m., she followed the same gentle sequence. She dimmed the lights throughout her home, she turned off all screens, she washed her face and completed her skincare routine. Slowly, mindfully, she brushed her teeth. She ran warm water over her hands for a minute, a surprisingly soothing sensation. She did 5 minutes of gentle neck and shoulder stretches. She practiced slow breathing, just a few minutes, then she slipped into bed. This became like a lullaby for her nervous system. The repetition sign ailed clearly. These familiar steps lead to sleep. Each action brings you closer to rest. Rituals work powerfully for humans of all ages, but especially for seniors whose brains benefit from clear, repeated patterns. The seventh strategy was transforming her bedroom into a sleep sanctuary. Maggie made several environmental changes that collectively improved her sleep quality. She lowered the thermostat. Research suggests most people sleep best in rooms between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Cooler is usually better than warmer. She installed blackout curtains to eliminate all outside light. Even small amounts of light can disrupt sleep, especially for older adults whose sleep is already lighter. She added a white noise machine to mask unpredictable sounds, traffic, neighbors, house settling that were waking her. She invested in a more supportive mattress and pillow that better accommodated her changing body. These weren't luxury purchases, they were investments in health. Your bedroom environment profoundly affects sleep quality. The eighth strategy was practicing calming breathing techniques. When Maggie lay down at night, even after all these changes, sometimes her mind or body still felt restless. She learned a simple breathing pattern. Breathe in slowly through her nose for a count of 4. Breathe out even more slowly through her mouth for a count of 6. The extended exhale is key. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode, and reduces activation of your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode. She would do this gently, without force, for just 5 or 10 minutes. Often, sleep would arrive naturally during this practice. The ninth strategy was trying gentle, natura, sleep support with medical guidance. Maggie discussed with her doctor whether certain supplements might support her sleep efforts. With her doctor's approval, she began drinking chamomile tea in the evening, a tradition used for centuries for its mild calming properties. Sometimes she alternated with lavender tea. Her doctor also approved trying magnesium glycinate, a form of magnesium that some research suggests may support relaxation and sleep quality, and which many older adults are mildly deficient in. She was clear that these were supports, not solutions. They weren't tea sleep pills. They were gentle aids that worked alongside her other habit changes, and critically, she never added any supplement without discussing it with her healthcare provider first, because supplements can interact with medications or medical conditions. The 10th strategy was embracing acceptance instead of pressure. This final strategy was perhaps the most psychologically profound. Maggie stopped fighting insomnia. She stopped telling herself, I must sleep, I have to sleep, what's wrong with me that I can't sleep? Instead, she cultivated a gentler inner dialogue. It's okay if I don't fall asleep right away. It's okay to be awake. I'm resting my body. I'm allowing myself to be peaceful. Sleep will come when it comes. This shift from pressure to acceptance created a remarkable paradox. When she stopped desperately demanding sleep, sleep became easier to find. She learned that rest, simply lying peacefully, has value even when sleep doesn't come immediately. Her body was still recovering, her muscles still relaxing, her nervous system still down-regulating. This acceptance reduced her cortisol levels, calmed her anxious thoughts, and opened the door for natural sleep to return. Now let me share the timeline and results. I want to be honest about Maggie's timeline because unrealistic expectations can lead to disappointment. The first week, very little changed. She felt frustrated at times. The second and third weeks, small improvements appeared. She began falling asleep slightly faster some nights. After about 6 weeks, she noticed she was waking less frequently during the night. After 3 months, most nights she was sleeping reasonably well, not perfectly, but significantly better than before. After 6 months, good sleep had become her new normal most nights, with occasional difficult nights that no longer devastated her. This was not instant. This was gradual, steady improvement. Again, this reflects one person's experience and should not be interpreted as a typical or guaranteed outcome. Sleep improvement varies dramatically from person to person based on underlying causes, health stat, U.S., consistency with strategies, and many other factors. If you found this information helpful, I'd be grateful if you'd take a moment to like this video. It helps others who are struggling with sleep find this content. Please consider subscribing to Senior Health Facts. We create evidence-based, compassionate content specifically for adults over 60 on topics that matter deeply to your health and well-being. And if you know someone who's been battling insomnia, perhaps a spouse, a friend, a parent, please share this video with them. Sometimes just knowing we're not alone in this struggle makes all the difference. Most importantly, talk with your doctor before making significant changes to your sleep routine or trying any supplements. Your healthcare provider knows your specific medical history, your medications, and your individual needs in ways that no video ever can. Your doctor can also help rule out underlying sleep disorders like sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, or medical conditions that specifically require treatment. Let me address some of the most common questions I hear from seniors about sleep and insomnia. Many people ask, is insomnia just an inevitable part of aging? Should I just accept this as my new normal? The honest answer is this: sleep does change with age, but chronic, severe insomnia does, and have to be your reality. Yes, biological changes occur. Yes, your sleep architecture shifts. But many seniors, with the right approaches, medical support when needed, and patience, can still experience restorative, satisfying sleep most nights. Don't resign yourself to sleeplessness. Explore what might help you specifically. Others wonder, should I take melatonin supplements? I've heard mixed things. Melatonin can be helpful for some seniors, particularly for issues with sleep timing or circadian rhythm disruption. However, more isn't better. Lower doses, often just 0.5 to 3 milligrams, tend to work better than high doses for most people, and timing matters, usually taken about an hour before your desired bedtime. But melatonin can interact with certain medicate ions, particularly blood thinners, blood pressure medications, and diabetes medications. It can also affect immune function and other body systems. This is why you should discuss melatonin with your doctor before trying it, particularly if you have any health conditions or take medications. Some ask, I wake up 2 or 3 times every night. Is this normal? Should I be worried? Brief awakenings during the night are actually quite common and normal for seniors. What matters most is your ability to fall back asleep relatively quickly. If you're waking briefly, then falling back asleep within a few minutes without distress, this isn't necessarily a problem. But if you're waking and then lying awake for 30 minutes or more, feeling anxious or frustrated, then it's worth addressing with the strategies we've discussed and potentially with medical support. People often ask, can exercise help me sleep better? What kind and when? Gentle, regular physical activity can significantly support better sleep for many seniors. Walking, swimming, tai chi, yoga, or simple stretching exercises can all be beneficial. Exercise helps regulate circadian rhythms, reduce stress hormones, and creates healthy physical tiredness. However, timing matters. Vigorous exercise to close to bedtime within about 2 to 3 hours can actually be stimulating and make sleep harder. Morning or afternoon exercise tends to work best for supporting nighttime sleep. Another common question is, I've heard warm milk helps you sleep. Is there any truth to this? The SCI ends on warm milk is actually interesting. Milk does contain tryptophan, an amino acid that your body uses to produce serotonin and melatonin. However, the amount of tryptophan in a glass of milk probably isn't enough to create a significant biochemical effect. The benefit likely comes more from the soothing ritual, the warmth, the comfort, the association with nurturing and relaxation from childhood perhaps, and sometimes that psychological and emotional comfort is exactly what supports sleep. If warm milk helps you feel calm and sleepy, by all means continue. The ritual itself has value. Some wonder, is it okay to read in bed? I've heard conflicting advice. This depends on the individual and what you're reading. If you're reading calming, enjoyable material, perhaps fiction that transports you gently and it helps you feel drowsy, then reading in bed can be part of a healthy sleep routine. But if you're reading material that makes your mind race, complex non-fiction, work-related, documents emotionally intense content or stimulating mysteries, then it's better to read in another location earlier in the evening. Also consider tea, lighting, bright overhead lights, or backlit screens can suppress melatonin. A small, warm reading lamp positioned correctly might work better. Pay attention to how your body and sleep respond, and adjust accordingly. Finally, people ask, when should I stop trying to handle this on my own and talk to a doctor? You should consult your healthcare provider if your insomnia persists for more than 3 weeks despite trying sleep hygiene improvements. If your daytime functioning is significantly impaired, you're struggling with memory, mood, or completing daily activities. If you suspect an underlying sleep disorder like sleep apnea, especially if you snore loudly, gasp during sleep, or feel excessively tired despite time in bed. If your insomnia began after starting a new medication, or if you're experiencing other concerning symptoms alongside insomnia, pain, frequent urination, breathing difficulties, significant anxiety, or depression, your doctor can evaluate for underlying uses. Review your medications for sleep disrupting side effects, potentially refer you to a sleep specialist if needed, or discuss whether cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia might be appropriate. Don't suffer in silence for months or years. Medical support is available and can make a profound difference. Here's a summary you can return to any time. Let me share the habits too. Avoid. Don't stay in bed while wide awake. Get up after 20 to 30 minutes. Avoid taking long daytime naps. Keep them under 30 to 40 minutes. Don't look at bright screens within 1 to 2 hours of bedtime. Avoid heavy, rich meals late in the evening. Don't consume news or stressful content right before bed. Don't use alcohol as a sleep aid, and don't pressure ourselves to fall asleep immediately. Now here are habits that support sleep. Keep a consistent sleep and wake time every day. Yes, weekends too. Get morning exposure to natural daylight for 15 to 30 minutes. Create a calming evening routine. Starting 30 to 60 minutes before bed, optimize your bedroom for sleep. Make it cool, dark, quiet, and comfortable. Practice gentle breathing exercises. Try 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Use a brain unloading notebook to capture worries earlier in the evening. Eat a light, early dinner. Finish 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Take a warm bath or shower before bed. The temperature drop afterward aids sleep. Try herbal teas or supplements only with doctor approval. Here are quick wins you can start tonight. Dim lines lights in your home 1 hour before bedtime. Put your phone in another room or turn off all notifications. Lower your bedroom thermostat by 2 to 3 degrees. Write down 3 things worrying you before getting into bed. Practice 5 minutes of slow breathing once in bed. And here are conversation starters for your doctor. You might ask, could any of my current medications be affecting my sleep? Would low-dose melatonin be appropriate and safe for me? Should we evaluate whether I might have sleep apnea or another sleep disorder? Are there any medical conditions I should be screened for that could cause insomnia? Would cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia be helpful in my situation? The strategies discussed in this video are based on principles from several reputable medical and research institutions. While I'm not providing specific citations or recommendations, I want you to know this information comes from credible sources. Harvard Medical School Division of Sleep Medicine has published extensively on how sleep architecture and circadian rhythm patterns change as we age and why behavioral interventions can help restore healthier sleep. And in older adults, Mayo Clinic Sleep Medicine Department provides evidence-based guidance on both medical and behavioral approaches for managing chronic insomnia, particularly in older populations. The National Institutes of Health National Institute on Aging offers research-based information on melatonin production changes with age, how light exposure influences sleep-wake cycles, and the relationship between sleep and overall health in seniors. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine has developed comprehensive, evidence-based clinical practice guidelines for sleep. Environmental optimization for sleep, and behavioral interventions for insomnia. Johns Hopkins Medicine Sleep Center has conducted research on napping in older adults showing that while brief naps can be restorative, longer naps or naps late in the day can disrupt nighttime sleep patterns. The National Sleep Foundation regularly publishes scientifically reviewed guidelines on sleep recommendations for different age groups, including specific guidance for adults 65 and older. These sources collectively support the approaches discussed regarding consistent sleep schedules, light exposure, sleep environment optimization, relaxation techniques, and the importance of addressing sleep concerns with healthcare providers. Now please listen carefully to this important disclaimer. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Nothing in this video I'll replace consultation with your qualified healthcare provider. Every individual's health situation is unique. What worked for the person in this story may not work the same way for you, or may not be appropriate for your specific circumstances. Always consult your physician, geriatrician, or sleep specialist before making significant changes to your sleep routine, starting any new supplements, including over-the-counter sleep aids or melatonin, stopping any medications you're currently taking, or if you're experiencing persistent insomnia that affects your daily function. If you're experiencing severe insomnia, excessive daytime sleepiness, loud snoring with breathing pauses, or other concerning symptoms, seek medical evaluation promptly. Senior Health Facts and the creators of this content are not liable for any decisions made based on information presented in this video. Your health and safety are paramount. Please work with your healthcare team to find approaches that are appropriate and safe for your individual needs.